Since you clicked this video, you're about to be the first millionaire in your family. This is not a motivational hoorah video, but I was probably in a position similar to you at some point in my life. I've been dead broke, super broke. Like, the reason I'm like the humble guy, quote unquote, and I don't blow all my money, even though I've made over $11 million drop shipping, it's because I've been the guy who's run it up with drop shipping, lost all his money, and had to like make it back, you know? And there was a point in time where I got hit with a video just like this. One of those, if you see this, you're about to get rich or something like that, right? And it wasn't necessarily that I think the video was maybe a sign or a calling. Maybe it was, I don't know. But the point is that in that video, I realized that what I'm trying to do, which is get rich, change my life, change my family's life, at that time anyways, right? Since then, I bought my mom a house, and like things are great since then. But at that time, I'm sitting there, I have this job, I'm working at a movie theater, right? Riding my bike to work. And I just knew there was so much more that I didn't know how to grab. I knew there was all this opportunity. We grew up in America, most of us, so we all know, yeah, it's the land of opportunity, but we don't know what to do, how to do it, where to go, who to talk to. And I just remember sitting at my job, like, there was this one point where I was the guy at the front of this movie theater, right? I would be taking your tickets. You'd be buying tickets. I'm giving you the tickets. Or theater 7 on the left, or whatever the fuck it was, right? And I hated being in what we called like the box, where they would put you in the box up front. You're just in this box by yourself selling tickets to a bunch of like 12-year-olds, you know? And I always carried myself very highly. High levels of respect to anybody I talk to, anybody who, you know, like anybody we communicate with. And when someone like my manager comes up and he's like, yo, go into the box, I need you to do this, that, and the third. And I'm like, you know, I'm worth more than someone just pointing me over here saying, go stand in a box and make a bunch of money for the business, and you make $7 an hour, $9 an hour, whatever it is, you know. I just came to a realization that the effort that I was putting into my own life was ripping me off. The things that I was choosing to do with my time, like even going to that job, right? When I came to that realization, by the way, I quit that same night. I was in there for about 30 minutes. I came to this realization and I said, it's more valuable for me to just not do this at all, even though they're paying me. It's more valuable if I go home and figure something out. Get my mind right. Like, just go start trying some shit. Because if I get comfortable and if I get stuck in the rat race of allowing people to tell me what to do so that they can pay me and I can be happy and I can come back to work next week and you tell me when to come to work. Like, what kind of life is that? Like, why do I want to wake up, go to work, come home, and I get 2 hours of my day to myself? Like, my actual life, 2 hours of my days are my own, you know? You go to sleep, that's another 8 hours. You go to work, that's another 8 hours. So you got 8 hours left. Well, now you're tired. You gotta shower, cook, clean, you know, take care of the dogs, the kids, whatever it is. And that's just not a life for anybody to live. It is a life that a lot of people choose because there's a lot of vices on this planet, you know? There's a lot of things to distract us, to feed into our brain chemicals, you know, the dopamine, and to make you think you're having fun or that you're making progress or something. But really, it's built so that you can be complacent, you know? And once I started identifying like all of the things in my life that I was doing that allowed me to be complacent. Like, even the content that I would consume, like, I started changing even the YouTube content, right? So the videos that I would watch, I would stop watching the gaming content or the music content, like whatever my entertainment was, I cut that out and I replaced it with a new style of entertainment. So I rewired my brain over the course of a couple of weeks to be entertained by business content, by interviews, by podcasts. So even when I wanted to be entertained and I wanted to just chill, I was still soaking up game, you know? It was entertaining and interesting to me to learn about people building these big businesses and all these tactics, or even if it wasn't about specifically what I was doing, like, which is e-com, you know, always just trying to learn something. The self-improvement was the biggest part, though. It's not just about learning business tactics, right? I had to, honestly, it's not a morning routine or anything, but I had to get my mind right. So for me, it was like I had to start trying to meditate, go to the gym, you know, like you want to be a businessman. You want to run a business. You want to be rich. You have big aspirations and goals. But if you can't take care of your body, how are you going to take care of employees who have families and they need those paychecks that you're about to send them? You can't miss paychecks. You know, I would always tell myself, I forget who I got it from, but the version of you who's going to be rich is not the version of you that you are now. The one that you see in your visions when you look out 5-10 years and you see the version of you that you have the car, the house, the woman, you know, your family's good, you got the watch, whatever it is, you know. That's not you right now. That version of you has different habits. He does different things in his day-to-day life. He makes different decisions. Maybe he saves more money. Maybe he spends more money in better places, you know. The content he watches is different, you know. People he talks to, the people he hangs around. So cross-reference yourself to the version of you that you see yourself as in the future. If you know that you're going to make $30 million in 3 years, okay, well then start walking backwards. Look at the version of you who's doing that and say to yourself, what is he doing? What is he doing? That version of me, what's he doing that I'm not doing right now? Is he going on runs and is he making these phone calls? Is he doing this business model? Did he take that idea that we once had and like run with it? Did he grab that opportunity from that one person that offered it that one time instead of saying no, like how I just did? Start comparing yourself to the best version of yourself and see if you're lining up. Because when people talk about all the philosophy and the philosophical business advice, it's not BS. We know that the reason people have a hard time finding success is because their mind isn't right and they're not thinking about it properly and they're just not doing enough work. That's like first and foremost. You have to be a lot more comfortable with doing a lot more work and not seeing a return yet for a week or two or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. There's actually a very interesting piece of, it's not a piece of advice, it's a study that was conducted many years ago in the 1900s. And we call it delay the gratification, because this study showed that they took groups of children and watched them for many, many years, decades out of their life. But they started this clinical study when they were kids, okay? So maybe when they were 6 or 7 years old, they had a group of boys, a group of girls, and they're saying, okay, guys, I can give you an Oreo now. You can have one Oreo right now. I can give it to you. You can eat it right now. Or you can wait 15 minutes and I'll give you 3 Oreos. You don't get anything right now. You have to sit there and you can't talk to anybody. But in 15 minutes, I will give you 3 Oreos instead of 1. It's like 70-something% of the kids would take the 1 Oreo. They would take the 1 Oreo because they get it instantly. And they don't know if they're going to get these 3 Oreos in the future. So they take the one that they see right in front of them. The other 20 or 30% of the kids who said, no, I'll wait and I'll take the 3 Oreos in 15 minutes, they were watched for decades of their life, and it was proven that the ones who could delay the gratification, even when it's as simple as delaying 1 Oreo for 3 more, they had outsized higher levels of success in life, in business and relationships. They were way more successful simply because they had a habit, a subconscious, innate decision-making habit of being willing to put something off because they don't need it now. They would rather have more later. That one perspective will change your life. If you can enact subconsciously that one perspective for 60 days, you will be rich. And if not rich, you will already be finding success in whatever business endeavor you're looking for. I promise you. I promise you. And then you pair that with the work. Because people talk about manifestation, but manifestation does not come unless it begets action. Okay, let me simplify those words. So you can't manifest anything unless you're making actions and you're doing something that would bring that manifestation to light. You know, we're not sidekicks. We can't literally will something, a tree to grow out of the ground, but we are beings of like energy. Maybe you're spiritual, maybe not, but regardless, pretty much everyone agrees the human consciousness and what we have going on, nobody understands it, but we all know it's energy. We all know there's electric currents moving through, and we're conscientious, and we can't prove what happens, right? It's a very complex thing. But all we know is we do have some type of power over our surroundings, and that is here and in here. The combination of this and this, the brute force and the thinking, okay? You cannot do just one or the other. However, even if you don't use your brain, the guy who is willing to just be a savage and outwork and work and grind and dog it out, that guy will always win over the guy who's trying to think everything out and be super analytical, but he can't dog it out like the other guy. Because while someone's over there trying to think everything out, you have this other guy who, regardless of how many times he fails, how fast or how slow he moves, he will keep dogging it out, and he will only get better. You know? So, if you watch this to the end, I want you to be a student, honestly. This is not a sales pitch, but if you watch this all the way to the end, click the first link or DM me on Instagram. Let's talk. Let's see if you're a good fit. Other than that, you're about to be rich, okay? Just go take it. Just take it. Grab it. You have to create and then grab the opportunity. Let's draw wealth. See you in the next one.